So today will be the first part for the year of the snake or the year of the wood snake. Yes, and therefore here we will break it into a few parts. The first part is of course the broad general explanation into the arriving year of the snake. So the Chinese has two calendars. One would be the older lunar calendar, which will then be meant for festivals. And so here, as many of us would know, that officially the Chinese New Year holidays will begin on January 29th. But for the purpose of for the purpose of the Chinese metaphysics, we normally follow the solar calendar, which is also known as the Farmer's Almanac. And so for that, the year of the wood snake will begin on 3rd of February. And so if there's any babies or children born on the 29th of January, or all the months of January to February 1st and 2nd, it will still be calculated and computed as the dragon. Yeah. Therefore, for the purpose of metaphysics, this will be the first day of the snake. So we refer to the solar calendar for the plotting of the chart. Now, just for my personal prose, you cannot find this anywhere. This is my personal labeling. I call this the flower snake. Flower snake. So I just call this the year of the flower snake, just to denote or to remind that the heaven stem will be the wood, the yi wood, the yi wood. And so, as it is a wood, it represents the creepy crawly. It represents flower. It represents a plant. And snake, of course, will be the first month of summer, and the first month of summer will be denoted by the snake, and therefore the element would be fire. So what is very unique about the snake is that it is a yin branch. It is a yin branch, and therefore the stems and branch are yin by nature. But yet, of course, as you look down into the hidden elements, it will be yang. It will be yang. And so yin on the surface, yang below it. This would normally denote that on the appearance, because yin normally give the appearance of passivity, something that is passive. Yin normally represents something that is non-moving. But yet, yang represents active movement inside. Therefore, this special occasion would be that the snake has the appearance of being passive. I'm sure as you also why the ancients attribute or label this element to be the snake, because as you know, snakes tends to be passive, similar to crocodiles or alligators. They hunt by mostly staying passive, and until the right moment as they strike to be active. Therefore, the appearance of passivity, but it has a very active character because it's yang by nature. And the hidden elements, there is a heavenly flow. So there's a heavenly flow in the hidden elements. As we know that fire produces what? Fire produces earth, and earth produces metal. Therefore, with this, we measure that's why snake is often perceived to be an auspicious sign. And it represents intelligence. In the one part, it has the pink fire. Pink fire represents the agent of change, as fire is the one element that changes the form of another. And we have Wu Earth, which represents stability, trust, and Keng metal represents speed. It represents execution. It represents a doer mentality. And therefore, usually we normally break people into thinkers and doers. And often we find that people who do may not think, and those who think may not do. They always say those who can talk or those who can do. But here we have both. the doer and the thinker. Therefore, this would also represent the auspicious nature of the snake. And furthermore, we also find that fire controls metal. As fire controls metal, it becomes the seven killing. So therefore, pink fire is the seven killing to the keng metal. And so as a result, we consider that there's an internalized seven killing. So seven killing represents bravery, it represents courage, it represents the ability and the willingness to take risk. And therefore, that would be what a snake would be. Now, the snake is also the first stem. No, sorry. The snake represents the first stem of the metal trinity. What is the metal trinity? The three combination for metal. The three combination for metal would be Sir, you, Cho, which of course will be the snake, the rooster, and the fox. Therefore, the snake represents the first of the branch, the snake, the rooster, and the ox. Therefore, this year we will embark on the beginning of a new decade, or the next decade, so to speak, and the decade of metal, the decade of metal. And also, we'll find that period 9, according to Dr. Professor Ko from the Mings, also mentioned in his speech about 4 years ago. That is also the period 9. I know normally if you look into Feng Shui, flying star, period 9 is fire. But of course, in the pre-heaven, it is metal, so to speak. Therefore, we'll say that this year is the beginning of the 9-year metal cycle. And so the year of the dragon ends what? What will be the dragon trinity? The dragon trinity would be the Shen Zi Chen, which is your water. So therefore, the end of water. And so we do find that there is a bit of a shift into how we can read what is the element of change now. Okay, so once again, this one from the top. So when we look into the galactic year, which lasts from this period 1984 to the year 2343, the galactic year represent at the moment this so-called meeting, this hui will end in 2343, which actually is in the horse. Therefore, on the galactic cycle, the horse is fire. The horse is fire, and therefore we are on a fire cycle on a long count. This is the long cycle. The long count is fire. Period 9 in terms of the flying star is fire, and snake is also fire. The nayin for the fire for the wood snake is also fire from the labs. So in all reading, fire is overwhelmingly strong. Fire is very, very strong. The fire, of course, means yin on the outside, yang in the inside. So represents things that are boiling, things that are simmering, and therefore overwhelming amount of fire. Can we already feel the effects of fire? Even though officially you can find that the elements have already begun. The elements have already begun where we can denote that the next decade will be one of fire and metal. And so what can we read? So we can read the image of wood is flower or a plant are normally considered to be a spineless plant, a plant without a bark or a trunk. That would be wood. So therefore cactus. So in one image, we can think of a snake being summer, hot, dry summer. Water trinity has ended in the Chen. So when the dragon year is over, that is also the end of water, because dragon is also the graveyard for water. And therefore, water element has depleted and the fire element has begun. And we are, because the hui, the meeting, because the meeting is also fire, therefore, under the overall galactic cycle of fire, meaning that fire becomes more pronounced. As it becomes more pronounced, we are we have this image of a scorching earth, and of course wood uh, is the element that wood is the only element that has organic life substance in it. Yeah? All other elements are not biological except for wood. Therefore, the symbolism of wood snake would be the image of it would be something akin to a cactus, akin to cacti on a desert, and therefore this element is tough, very tough. It has an internalized seven killing, and it can survive at a very harsh condition. Because in a way, we can find that wood is the element. Spring has also come to an end because at the end of spring comes summer. Therefore, we find that the elements are not very well balanced. All right, so the decade of war and violence, which is period 9, and of course, one can also consider that group 5. So normally, when we look at the group 5, we consider that this would be the decade of war. Jia Chen is symbolizes war, and of course, period 9 also confirms that. Now, why would you want to say that? Well, in a way, we can also see that there are several elements which are rock, wealth, good, blade. Now, what are the elements that are rock, wealth, good, blade? We'll find that we have, what do we have? We have Wu Shen, because under the monkey, there's also earth. Therefore, this is a rock, wealth, good, blade. We'll find Gui Chou, which is also would be rock, wealth, good, blade. We can also find it in your Geng Shi, which is also metal. So it has a tendency to be also a rock, wealth, good, blade, or a Fui Kong star. So it's also a Fui Kong, commander star. And we can also find them in your Ren, which is also similar with water sitting on water into a certain degree. Therefore, here we can consider that this decade is known to be a warring decade of metal and fire. Now, from our earlier sharing on the Shensha, we also find that the wood snake is also one of the great defeats. So it will be considered to be Tingwei as well. Correct. Thank you. Tingwei is also rock, wealth, good, blade. And in a way, Ping Wu is also rock, wealth, good, blade because it's all elements sitting on itself. Therefore, this decade is the coming decade which we can find. Now, needless for me to align it to the current geopolitical developments, as you can also already observe that there are multiple types of increased or heightened military conflicts around. And so that is period 9 for you, a period of metal and fire. And so now we're moving into the second year of this. All right, now as we move along, metal, three combinations. So the three combo is where, of course, we have the snake to the rooster to the ox. And therefore, fellow gang members always would find affinity. Now, the yew wood is flexible. The yew wood is very flexible. Yew wood has grow roots, and of course, to a certain degree, it hinges and it lives on its friends. So therefore, it's creative. It's very creative. And wood is also an element of growth as wood begins to expand and grow. All right. let's also move on into the next part.